There was an article in the Wall Street Journal that seemed to indicate that people aren't going to Disney World at the rate that they did certainly a year ago. And your fight with the governor there, or his fight with you. Is he having an impact, do you think, on attendance, his continued criticism of the company?
No, we see no sign of that at all. The article that you referred to was not accurate, actually. It was measuring attendance at Disney World on July 4th, which didn't really factor in temperature, which is about 100 degrees and 99% humidity on that day. But there are other factors as well. One is, and I think this is kind of complicated, but Florida opened up early during COVID, and created huge demand. And didn't have competition because there were a number of other states that were not open yet. So if you look at the numbers in Florida in 2023, or just recently, versus 2022, where not as much was open, and Florida was the only game in town, there's a lot more competition today. So against 2022, the state of Florida has been down. We actually track hotel tax revenue across the state, which is a matter of public record. And there are counties in Florida that have been down 6-7% recently. We also know that our competitors are discounting in that state. So there are some near-term issues in Florida that I don't think have anything to do with politics.
And not about pricing either? Because obviously, when it comes to pricing in the parks, you have a great understanding there of what that can do.
One of the things that we addressed as soon as I came back was, whether our pricing was right or not, and whether our pricing reflected value. I should also say, I don't know when the last time you visited Disney World. I say it's where the Disney brand lives in its most sublime form. Right. I still believe that. It's an incredible experience. It's a very, very popular business and product, and it's very successful, and we're not wringing our hands over it. There's some near-term issues in Florida, as we've talked about, but
I want to talk.
And pricing is not an issue. We address some of those issues.
So you're not concerned overall about some sort of a significant decline over time in attendance?
Not at all. No. I think you're looking at a comparison to last year, and it's very, very different, and we do not have long-term concerns about that business.
What about DeSantis, who's going to be on the hustings, so to speak, for the next year? And he's made this a part of his campaign, attacking Disney, saying it's a woke corporation. We've put the company on a pedestal, but they've really embraced the idea of getting the sexualized content in the program line that I'm not willing to cross. I mean, that's what he said. I quoted DeSantis there. How do you respond to that?
Well, so far what we've said publicly is that we are concerned that he has decided to retaliate against the company for a position the company took on pending legislation in that state. And frankly, the company was within its right, even though I'm not sure it was handled very well, it was within its right to speak up on an issue, constitutionally protected right of free speech. And to retaliate against the company in a way that would be harmful to the business was not something that we could sit back and tolerate. And so we have filed a lawsuit to protect our First Amendment rights there and to protect our business, frankly. The other issues that you referenced, look, the last thing that I want for the company is for the company to be drawn into any culture wars. We've operated for almost 100 years as a company, making product that we actually are proud of in terms of its impact on the world. I joke every once in a while we're there to manufacture fun.
Well,
we're there to tell great stories.
I know, but you can't be happy when there's literally Nazis standing outside the front gates of the park.
That was horrifying, quite frankly, and it's concerning to me that anyone would encourage a level of intolerance or even hate that, frankly, could even become dangerous action that could be turned into some dangerous act of some sort. So it's concerning to me, but I don't really want to engage in the specifics except to say that it's not our goal to be involved in a culture war. Our goal is to continue to tell wonderful stories and have a positive impact on the world. We are a preeminent entertainer in the world, and we're proud of our track record there. The notion that Disney is in any way sexualizing children, quite frankly, is preposterous and inaccurate.
Well, this is going to keep going on, but you're going to, do you ever feel like you need to engage in an even more strident way, or You sort of want to stay kind of where you are.
You
The
know,
lawsuit will speak for itself.
We're going to keep doing what we do best, and be proud of what we are doing, and be mindful of the environment. Of course, I've said this publicly. You know, we're sensitive to the interests and the needs of the great audiences that we are seeking to attract globally, and we'll continue to do that.